What's up, guys? Max here. Let's talk about the Xbox One. So some of you might have come across my little bit of a reaction video. I did not actually record that reaction video with the intent of it being that way. I had this idea, maybe if I get myself on webcam, get some audio, and see how it goes during some of these press conferences. I usually get really excited about stuff.
Looks like you're working pretty hard out there.
Hey Yusuf, thanks for having me. I'm happy to do it.
It was quite the snooze fest. So what I wanted to do is a follow up from that and be like, well, why not? Let's go over my overall impressions, if some of you do care, about the future of console gaming and the future of what the Xbox might be bringing to the home entertainment. So first up, the thing that they talked about way too much, and I'm so frustrated because I don't understand why there was so much of a discussion, was television. Maybe it's just me, but I kind of stopped watching TV like 4 to 6 years ago, and if I do watch TV, I kind of like bring it up on Netflix or buy DVDs of shows and all in one lump sum. I think the act of just like casually watching television is something that's kind of like on its way out, and I think that some of these like cable companies like, you know, Comcast and DirecTV and things like that, and I think that's a huge misunderstanding of what people actually want as far as a video game console. Literally all those descriptions of like, wow, the Xbox One is just a gigantic TV remote. But it's a really expensive one, and it's very fancy, and it does Xbox on, go home. Dude, no. I don't think that's what people really want at all. And them trying to target like a television audience is kind of the wrong direction. Somebody made, and there's actually been quite a few really good analogies that this is kind of duplicating, I think, the E3 presentation for the PlayStation 3, where they were trying to like centralize and focus the PS3 as being the all-in-one ultimate multimedia center, and that didn't work out very well, and it took the PS3 quite some time to catch up and become like the mainstay game console that it pretty much ended up being. Now, I kind of play all my games on Xbox for a very specific reason, and that reason is because the Xbox runs the majority of games between the PS3 and the Xbox 360. On the Xbox 360, those games run a little bit better most of the time. As well as the online components when it comes to fighting games especially, they, for the most part, have a much smoother experience in the online Xbox environment because it's a paid service. You kind of pay for what you get, and it's, for me, it's kind of worth the $60 a month, even though they are kind of jacking up the price at the end of the Xbox's life cycle. I was always able to find like Xbox cards and get like $35, you know, for a full subscription year of Xbox Live. What's happening now is that it feels like the sides have totally switched, or the Xbox is now trying to be this ultimate multimedia center, and the PlayStation 4 has become like the ultimate go-to game console because, well, they kind of had a lot of stuff to show off. I do agree that if you're going to introduce your video game system, the majority of the Xbox One conference should have been talking about how this console is going to make video games fucking awesome. And it was none of that. This console is going to make television pretty easy to use. This console is going to make NFL that much better to watch. And this console is going to play Call of Duty.
This is someone you care about. This is a squad member.
I care about dogs.
What they could have done is that, I know they want to save the games for E3. I understand that. I was going in understanding that. But they could have at least told us how badass this system is going to make your games. It seems kind of weird for them to talk about all the video games that they're going to be presenting at E3 and then explain how the Xbox is going to make all these better, or the Xbox One is going to make all this better than the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox 360. Seems like a little bit too much of a task for just one show to talk about the games, which is why I would have really preferred them to go into the inner details of talking about what's going to make the new Xbox Live that much better. What's all this operating stuff system-wise going to do really good with the system? Oh, here's another thing that really bugs me. This operating system that allows you to run your games at the same time with like your TV and your Skype and all this crap. Well, this OS is going to take 3 gigs of the 8 gigs of memory that the Xbox has. It has 8 gigs total of RAM, and 5 of it is going to be used for video games. The other 3, other stuff, operating system stuff. Now, from what I saw so far, like the TV integration, whatever that's taking up, I really don't care. The Skype calling and chatting, I really, I have a computer. Like, it's great. It runs Skype fantastically. I don't need an Xbox to do that, much less in the living room. It just seems a little odd, you know what I mean? It's like their focus was kind of lost when they were coming up with all this stuff, and they're trying to appeal to an audience that I personally don't think really exists. So moving on. The next thing that really kind of came to light after the system was revealed, and a couple days later now, is the fact that the Xbox One is less powerful than the PS4. It just is. The hardware within the system doesn't run at the same clock speeds as the PS4 does between the graphic processor and the CPU. And they've even come on record saying that we did not target the highest end graphic capabilities when designing the Xbox One. They were going for all this TV stuff, so it really depends. Like that kind of like blows my mind that they wouldn't try to beat Sony at the game of making the next best looking console. So I don't know, man. That seems a little freaking weird to me. The thing that's also got people in a really huge hubbub is the fact that this used game thing is you have to go, every time you purchase a video game with the Xbox One now, you got to stick it in the system. It goes in, it installs to your hard drive, your 500 gig hard drive by default, and then you just play the game off of there. The reason they want this is that you have this like natural, really quick switching between the game, the television, the Skype, all the different operating stuff can go really fast. And you have to install the game to the hard drive to make that so. The problem is that means each disc is going to have its own unique specific like serial number. And if you want to spend, or if you want to take that disc over to a friend's Xbox One, that means that you have to spend a fee to play that on somebody else's profile. It's attached to your profile, like your Xbox Live gamer tag. And if you go to your friend's house and you log in with your gamer tag, hopefully that will be not too difficult. It will run really well, and it'll actually just run perfectly. But if he wants to play it on his personal profile, they got to pay a fee. And the rumors are that the fee has been $50. So, dude, all this stuff sounds ridiculously disappointing. Like, what the hell is Microsoft doing to console gaming? And at this point, I don't even think they know. So, like, a lot of these reports are coming out now, and there's all these mixed opinions, and everyone's asking them questions and wanting answers to all this stuff, and all we're getting is a bunch of dudes that are just like, yeah, it's this, but this guy's saying this, and this dude's saying that, and no, it's this way, and then other dudes like, no, it's this way, so it's... Dude, I don't even think they know. Like, I don't even think Microsoft actually knows the game plan at this point. They could possibly be testing the waters of this announcement, because this is something that can make them a lot of money pretty fast, and could be a pretty big venture capital for this television thing and all this stuff. But if things go wrong, the PlayStation 4 now seems to be the easy to use, easy to play. It's a video game console. It's not a gigantic DRM box. And the Xbox One is kind of appearing to be that way, and I don't want that because I like a lot of the Microsoft franchises. Now the thing is, this is all really easy to get upset about, but what could possibly change, and what could change opinions about this, is if they actually start showing some freaking video games. E3 can possibly change everything. If they have like these 16 titles that they're like, yo, dude, we got 9 games that are console exclusive, and like 8 of them are being made by Microsoft Studios, or whatever the numbers were. There's like 16 games or 15 games in total. Those are some pretty impressive numbers. Pulling out that many games within the first, I think, year, they were saying, holy shit! It's pretty cool. If there's that many games and that many new titles and new franchises that they plan on integrating into a brand new console generation, awesome. Absolutely awesome. But they gotta be good. They gotta be really good. Like, they gotta have things that'll convince people, I'm gonna deal with all this bullshit of this video game system, all this stupid crap, but it's worth it because I got this. I got this video game that is so awesome, and it's going to play so awesome on my Xbox One. That's the only thing that's going to change people's minds, and honestly, a lot of people's minds have already been made up because of the crazy, outlandish things they've been saying. So, I think E3 is going to be a very telling time for the Xbox One. I am looking forward to it very much, because there are some things in my brain that I'm thinking of that could very much make me buy an Xbox One if they announce them. I don't want to say what it is right now because I do not want to get my freaking hopes up, but some of you might know what I'm talking about. Now, moving on a little bit, there was some stuff that was announced that kind of flew under the radar. There was 300,000 servers announced for the new Xbox Live network. Bitchin'! Awesome! How the hell does that work? Well, there was another rumor coming along that when somebody asked about this 300,000 server thing for Xbox Live, or the new Xbox Live, They said that each one of the games are going to have their own dedicated servers or multiple dedicated servers. And that sounds like good news to me. That sounds like almost a game changer when it comes to online environments with games, because I've had my plenty big share when making video productions for some of these online games, especially Call of Duty, man, where I get very disappointed that there's not dedicated servers and they're still running off this host crap. It's not good. And hopefully, within the next console generation, that stuff could actually be alleviated. That would be something that would have been great, right? During this press conference, they have this moment where it's like 300,000 servers. All your video games are going to have a dedicated server. Perfect online experience, lagless environment. Our console is going to make sure that you have a proper internet connection and pair you up with those people for the most ultimate gaming experience. But they didn't do that. They were like, check out these MMA guys beating each other up and talking about how important sports is to EA. I don't know what they were thinking. I don't know what they were thinking. There was definitely a lot of stuff that they could have talked about video game related without talking directly about the games. You know what I mean? But to wrap this up before it gets any longer, I have hopes. I'm also pretty nervous right now. A lot of people ask me, are you a PS4 guy? Are you a Xbox One guy? Well, I'm kind of neither right now. Nothing on the PS4 has me ridiculously excited at all yet. And nothing on the Xbox One has me very excited yet at all either, except this server thing. So I think E3 is going to be a very telling time. Now, myself and my friend Matt, who are going to be attending E3, are going to be doing as much coverage on these games as we possibly can. If there's something big, especially fighting game-wise, that's going to be at E3. I'm going to be there playing the hell out of it, breaking things down, talking to people, and getting as much information about this stuff as I possibly can, because I think it's important for this next console generation to be as open with information as possible, not like what happened recently with this press conference. So, let me know what you guys think in the comments below about what's happening with the Xbox One. I'm pretty sure a lot of it is going to be negative, and it does make sense as it should be. But do you have hopes at E3 that Microsoft might unveil some totally bitchin' ass stuff that can make the system actually redeemable in your eyes? Thank you very much for watching, guys. My name is Max, and I'll see you next time.